Hello and welcome to the Gauge League and another Total War Radious faction unit overview. And I need to talk about something first. For some reason I have done two Lizardmen faction overviews. Probably because they're more or less my favourite faction. But I never even noticed it was Radious himself that noticed. So here we go, vampire counts. And these are the last of the major faction overviews. Again, as always, big beautiful bastard. In front of us here, that is Manfred von Stein. I've not taken every single unit. I think there is slightly more than a full stack. I've taken a mixture of units. And just to be very, very clear, in particular on the vampire counts, this is not particularly lore focused, just if it's lore applicable would be how I'd put it. Okay, so let's get started. We all know this big, beautiful guy. Let us start with some of their units here. Skeletal Reapers. Now, I really like the look of skeletons in this game. Now, the one thing I'd say about the vampire count roster is that there's just a lot of extra variables, because the vampire counts can be quite boring in vanilla. There's very few units. So here we go, Skeletal Reapers. These are basically the most basic skeleton warriors, but with great swords. They've got armor piercing. They look kind of cool. Look like they might be from Middenland, maybe even Kislev. Okay. Actually, let's see what it says about them. Clad in corroded armor. Yeah, it's just skeleton warriors with great swords. Okay, now here's one that might be slightly contentious. The Sylvanian Halberdiers. These are just Halberdiers. The county of Sylvania is a province in the east of the empire that is infamous as being the home of the von Karstein bloodline of the vampires. Sylvania has its own provincial armies under vampire counts. So, as somebody who's read every novel associated to vampire counts, including the ones like Gotreks and Felix, it's a bit of a mixed bag. In Gotreks and Felix, it'd be very difficult to imagine these guys, but in other books, in the older ones particularly, you can imagine them having, probably not as well dressed as this, but human soldiers. There certainly was humans, still had humans in the vampire lands till the end times, so that is these guys. And you know, they just add a little bit. Personally, you get three types of human units, all very basic. I like having garrison armies built of them, it just amuses me. Anyway, Graveguard with spears, so this is a Graveguard variant with spears. Pretty much the same stats as you get in the Radious mod for Graveguard, obviously with the anti-large. They look very cool. The spears actually fit this unit really well. I think they actually might look better than the standard Graveguard, but there you go. Oh, now these are an interesting one. Guards of the Counts. These guys look pretty awesome. Again, they look kind of like a northern human army, don't they? Armor and shielded, charge defense against all. So they've got magic and flaming attack, which means they're probably quite good against other vamps. Look at this guy just standing tall. Hello, son. Okay, what does it say about them? I don't know anything about these units. When the vampire counts march to war, they need to slumber during the day due to Nagashi's curse. These wights are dedicated to guarding the vampires whilst they sleep. So I'm not sure if these are based in lore, but basically the idea is that these are lore. These are guards. I'm fine with that. They're not exceptionally good, but they're also pretty good, and they have perfect figure, which is always quite nice. Okay. Oh, Blackguard. These guys look amazing. Is that... what is this on their back? It's kind of cool. Looks like the chaos stuff, doesn't it? Okay, armor and shielded, anti-infantry, melee expert. But these, you know, these are elite level units. None of the vampire counts units are quite as elite as the heaviest of elite on other forces, but very helpful units. Poison attacks as well. In life, they were mighty barbarian warriors, the sons of the icy lands. There you go. Without the protection of Moor, are resurrected centuries later and became one of the most formidable warriors in service of vampire counts. And this is something that's bothered me for a while with vampire counts. I think this is good. Why can't we get... I mean, there is potentially lower reasons why we wouldn't have certain races as zombies and skeletons, but certainly some other races other than humans. And although these are still humans, the Norskin type forces. I like that. I like that mixture. Although I don't think I've ever seen a Norskin army so well decked out. But they look really cool, the Blackguards. Okay, and these are just another variant of them. Blackguard with great swords. Again, I'm loving the use of the white helmet. Absolutely fantastic. I love the sword. Some of the assets are just fantastic. These are obviously just melee experts. Armor, sunder, and armor. They don't have the heavy shield, but they do have armor, sunder, and magical. These guys are going to rip up lines. Okay, and another variant here, Blackguard with halberds, armoured, armor piercing damage, and poison attack. Poison attack is quite interesting, but these guys just look brilliant, don't they? They're absolutely brilliant. I'm trying to remember where this halberd's from. I remember it from another Radious unit, but I can't think of the vanilla unit. Very cool units though. Look at these guys. Haroche Disciples. Now, I know all about these guys in the lore. Look at you screaming there. Are you okay? Do you need oh, hello. Look at this guy just chilling out at the back. What's he got on his back? Oh, that's that. Armoured shielded anti-infantry. Haroche was the greatest warrior of Lamia and held honour above all else. Awed and inspired by his deeds, Haroche Disciples dispersed far and wide across the world seeking to emulate. Now, of course, at no point were these a military unit, but why not? They're in the lore. Let's use them. My argument here probably would be that they're not good enough considering how good Haroche was. They don't really have any bonuses, but, you know, there's a lot of units. I absolutely love this design, though. For some reason, I like these guys to play as Mousillon or something, even though that wouldn't make any sense. Okay, Haroche Disciples. Oh, no. Haroche Disciple Greatswords, just another variant. Again, they look very cool. They actually have different... Ah, yeah. I prefer the Claymore type sword. I think these guys would look after themselves, but I like the variants. There you go, bud. Oh, look at these guys. Okay, Doomed Legion. Armour and shielded, anti-large and charge defense against large foes. Heavily armoured, good weapon strength. Oh my god. Ennio Mordini, oops, I keep pressing buttons, was one of the most famous mercenaries of the Tilian state. His success began to worry the prince, so he decided to betray Ennio. I can't really read this, the font's too small. Now, I've got a bigger monitor now, so much higher resolution, but it makes this harder. Okay, now rising from the grave, Ennio and his Doomed Legion seeking revenge against the living. Oh yeah, I do vaguely remember these guys. Armour and shielded anti-large charge defense. Probably the best spear units, I imagine, for them. Very, very cool. Probably should be like almost a regiment, a renown type unit. But look how very, very cool they are. Okay, Mordheim's chosen. Armoured shielded, melee expert and damage dealer. It's pretty good stats, although nothing special about them, which is interesting. Obtain the protection of a prince, giving him soldiers. Following to this ancient tradition, the chosen of Mordheim have devoted themselves in eternal to the service. That doesn't actually make sense. But they've devoted themselves forever to the service of the vampire counts. In exchange for the protection to their family, their indomitable spirit give them strength and courage. Oh, that's interesting. These probably are directly taken from somewhere in the lore. I don't recognise them, but I like them. I like using them in battle as well. Dismounted Knights of the Grail. Armoured, armour-piercing, damage dealer. Infamous of the lands of Bretonnia, these deathless knights were lured as mortals by false visions of the Lady of the Lake to the cursed city of Mousillon, where they drank blood from the Black Grail, becoming vampires. These are awesome units. These are heavy-hitting, armour-piercing units. They look cool. I love the Bretonian style mixed in with the vamp style. Absolutely cool. Dismounted Drakenhof Templars. Armour shielded, anti-infantry and melee expert. Okay, so I know Drakenhof Templars. These are probably the best melee units for the vampire counts. One-on-one. The original Drakenhof Templars were a genuine knightly order. They were several iterations of the order. For Vlad and his heirs were ever imitators of human tradition, and the most recent incarnation of the order was comprised of vampires considered unworthy to bear the von Karstein name. So these are crap vampires. Interesting. Very cool though. Again, I love the mixture of assets. Okay, now I'm just going to get onto this one. There's actually 2 ranged units in the Radious mod for vampire counts now. It's never bothered me that much, but I know some people get bothered. The other unit is skeletal archers. Pretty much the worst archers in the game, so I haven't really bothered showing them. They look cool. They look like the original, before the vampire counts were a thing. They look like those skeletal archers. In fact, I still have tabletop models of them somewhere. So these are just the crossbowmen, basically from the Empire, and this goes along the same track as the Empire type armies in the Vampire lands. And I like that. I'm okay with that personally. These aren't going to make or break a battle, so if they are, you're fighting wrong. Mounted skeletons, okay, shielded, very fast. These are terrible, terrible, terrible cavalry. However, you get them very, very early on, so they can be very useful when fighting other vampire counts, especially with encroaching on zombie rears and so forth. Encroaching on zombie rears, not sure a zombie would care that much. Knights of the Black Grail, armour shielded anti-infantry, so we've already seen the landed variety, the unmounted variety. But look at these guys. Absolutely cool. Look at your noses. You need some work, my friend. And indeed, these last guys are the Drakenhof Templars, which we've seen dismounted already. They are probably my favourite looking cavalry in the game. Heavily armoured, semi-Bretonic, semi-undead knights. Absolutely love it. Okay, so because it would be a bit odd fighting zombies as zombie lords, we're fighting peasants. In fact, I think the peasants might go down a lot quicker than the zombies, which I didn't really think of at the time. But here we go. Let us get on with it. Let's just fight, my friends. Let's just fight. Okay, and you just come up here. Sure. Look at these wonderful peasants. They will break quicker, actually. This maybe wasn't the best idea. Perfect battle line, though. God, you wouldn't want to be a peasant army against this. I mean, vampire armies, Jesus Christ. Terrible. Probably should have done it the other way, but sure. Oh, look at these front lines. They are just going to be annihilated. Yeah, done already. Yeah, okay. This was a bad idea. We're actually going to win a battle, I think. Well, just get after that. Let's just win this battle. As this is our last one of normal. We may do, if there is demand, we may do like Southern Kingdoms, Kislev and things like that. Do let me know in the comments below. But this is our last major faction. Okay. I don't think these kills are really going to add up to much because of how crap peasants are. No real surprise you guys ripped them apart. Unbelievable. Right, anyway, thank you very much for joining. That is the last of the major faction unit overviews for Radious. As I say, leave in the comments if you want to see any others. And indeed, I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll try and answer questions. There is a few comments on these. I try to stay away from lore specific questions, but general questions I'll certainly answer. So thank you guys. I'll see you again.